Good morning, grade 4. How are you? Welcome to our reading class. Today, inshallah, we are going to start our new story. We are going to start a new story. That story is My Brother Martin. My brother Martin. A sister remembers growing up with the Rev. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. We are now going to speak about this story. It's about Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, by Christine King Ferris. This story is a biography. The genre is biography. We said before, what is the meaning of biography? It's a story of a real person's life. A story about a real person's life, told by someone else. And that is the difference between biography and autobiography. Both of them are non-fiction story. They are not fiction. They are real story. But the difference is the biography is a story of a real person's life that is written by another person. Again, it's written by another person. Like here, this story we are going to read about Dr. Martin Luther King, his real story, but it's written by someone else. It's written by his sister, Christine King. Okay, so again, the biography is a story of a real person's life told by someone else. The biography may cover the person's whole life or only a part of it. Okay, so here we are going to know parts about Martin Luther King's life. So again, the story's title is My Brother Martin, and it's written by Christine King. And the genre of this story is biography. What is the meaning of biography? A story of a real person told by someone else. Okay, so if I ask you now, in that story we are going to read fiction events or realistic events? Yes, of course, we are going to read realistic events. It's a biography, so it has real events. Okay. In that story, we are going to know more about Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was an American Christian minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in the civil rights movement. And he won the Nobel Peace Prize. So in that story, we are going to know more about Dr. Martin Luther King and what did he do for the human rights, how he became a spokesperson in the civil rights, and why did he win the Nobel Peace Prize, and so many information about that person. So in this unit, or in that story, we are going to learn or hear or speak and write about how what people hear and say can make a difference in our lives. So the question of the week is, How can words change people's lives? How can words change people's life? Let's start to see that video together.
How can words change people's lives? During the civil rights movement of the 19th, ways to create change. Before the civil rights movement, many African Americans were treated as second-class citizens. They were kept separated from white citizens by being required to use different restrooms, sit in different sections of public buses, and eat in different restaurants. Community leaders, such as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., worked to achieve equal rights for African Americans. King gave speeches, led peaceful protests, and with pride and dignity against him. His words echoed his desire for liberties and fairness for all people. Thanks in part to the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Civil Rights Act was passed, which caused schools and all public facilities to integrate and put an end to segregation. This week, you will learn how integration and equal opportunity.
Okay, so here our question of the week: words change people's life. What do you think? Look here in that picture. Why do you think that the written words are important? Why are written words important? The written words are important because they express our thoughts and our feelings, right? So we can use words to express our thoughts, to express our feelings, to express our ideas. So the Constitution expressed the belief that every person should have certain liberties. Okay, if you see that picture, if you look to that picture, what do you think? What feeling are these people expressing? What do you think these people, or what feeling are these people expressing? Yes, for me, I think all of them are hanging flags for their country, so I think they are feeling patriotism, which means they are demonstrating pride in their country, right? So we are going, if we make the concept map now, inshallah, we are going to add the word coming together. And number 2, expressing feeling. Okay, look at that picture, girl, here, that small one. How does the balance represent the effect that the words can have? If you see that picture, what do you understand from this? Yes, very good. It stands for justice. It stands for fair, right? So sometimes people must use their words to change the unfair laws and gain equal rights. So, how words can change lives? Number 1, maybe for coming together, it's bringing us together to express our feelings and to present our ideas and also to make a change. So in this week, we are going to read about people who used words and ideas to achieve important goals and dreams, like Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was a person who used his words or his speech and ideas to achieve important goals and dreams. Okay. So in that story, we are going to see how words are so powerful and how Dr. Martin Luther King, he was a civil rights leader and he worked so hard to achieve equal rights for the African American. Because before the civil rights movement, the African American were treated very badly. They were treated as a second class citizens, and they were separated from the white citizens, and they were required to use different restaurants and required to use different transportation. So he worked hard to achieve equality for all people. He also asked for the fairness and liberties for all people. So again, in this story, the title of our new story is My Brother Martin, and it's a story about Martin Luther King Jr. And this story is a biography, and we said that a biography is a story of a real person told by someone else. So in this story, this a sister which is Christine King, she shares her childhood memories of her younger brother Martin Luther King.